You guys ever play Street Fighter and like your buddy, your friend comes over, he hits that start button on the second controller, and the screen goes, "Here comes a new challenger." It feels like that just happened for us during our head coach search for the Arizona Cardinals. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Cardinals Daily. I'm Eddie Cuevas, and I got you when it comes to Cardinals news, talk, reports, rumors, and more. Thank you to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. Scan that QR code and use code word footballfan, all one word. Get in on these playoff games, guys. I'm already on there, and I've been having a blast, all right? If you're already part of the squad, I appreciate you for riding with us. This is day one, and if you're new here, smash the sub button. Really helps out the channel, and the more we grow, hey, the better content we bring you guys every single day. Again, huge shout out to Underdog Fantasy. Bar gang, listen up. Because our head coach search just took a turn, and it's the kind of turn that makes you go, what? Just what? Because there's a brand new name in our coaching search that didn't even hit the public radar until yesterday. And somehow, someway, he's already on to a second interview. According to NFL Media's Ian Rappaport, Jacksonville Jaguars defensive coordinator Anthony Campanile flew into Arizona last night for an in-person second interview with us today. And that's the craziest part, because we didn't even know this guy was around. We didn't even know about the first interview. So if you're wondering why it feels like it came out of nowhere, it's because it damn sure did. And don't let it fool you, because when the coach goes from not reported to second interview in person, that tells you we are actually taking him seriously. We might actually have a head coach pretty damn soon if he's already getting a second interview, and we didn't even hear about the first one. That first one was probably like text messaging or an email or a phone call or something. After missing on a couple top names already, like Robert Saleh, I think this is the pivot that actually makes sense. So let's look at it, okay? Because who is Anthony Campanile? Obviously, he's not a loud name in the cycle. I didn't even know that he was even up for positions at all, right? He's not the media hype candidate, right? They're not talking about him on ESPN or anything, right? He doesn't have that cool trending label the way some of the other guys do. What he is a coach with results. Plain and simple. He took over the Jacksonville Jaguars defensive coordinator job in 2025, and he killed it with them, all right? Under Anthony Campanile in 2025, the Jags, number one run defense in the NFL, 8th in points allowed, 11th in yards allowed. That's pretty damn good. That's some elite production, in my opinion, or at least an elite going from zero to hero type of stuff, right? The defense won them a lot of games, right? Especially those last 8. Now, during their 8-game winning streak and that regular season, they didn't allow more than 20 points per game, or 20 points in any of those games, right? I think it was like an average like 14 and a half points per game, which is insane in the NFL. Down the stretch, when it matters, dude, it's dope. That's elite, right? That's a guy that can teach discipline, that can teach preparation and prepare the team. That's a guy that is decent to damn good at game planning, right? That defense played with confidence and identity. And Travis Hunter was out early. He got injured early on, and he wasn't even part of that whole thing. And they still did it without a guy that was considered the star player of that defense. Of course, they got a couple other guys on there, but still, think of it that way, right? We haven't had identity on defense, or on offense really, but on defense in years, right? So I'm interested. I'm really intrigued about this, with this guy, right? When you see a guy take over a defense and immediately put those numbers on the board, it makes you think, right? Damn. So Anthony didn't just pop up on us overnight, okay? He's been in the league for a while, right? Defensive coordinator last year with Jags. He was linebackers coach and defensive run game coordinator for the Packers. The Packers in 2024. Linebackers coach with the Dolphins from 20 to 23. And before that, Rutgers, Boston College, and Michigan. All serious programs, right? And the linebacker part is important to me because it tells you how he sees the game. Because linebackers are the communication hub of the defense. That's the unit that sets the front, right? Calls adjustments, audibles, whatever you want to call it. And they play smart and physical because that's what they have to do to stay in front, right? So if we're going to hire a defensive-minded head coach, I would like a guy that spent years coaching the heart of the defense. I think that would work, right? He seems to be that kind of coach. Now, why would he be the right hire for us? Because we need everything he provides, right? We've been way too easy to play against. We've been way too inconsistent up front. We have way too many Sundays where teams run right down the middle and just crack us in the face, punches in the mouth, and keep scoring on us. So I think he brings in a good defensive culture to this defense. This is the NFC West, guys. We're not in a finesse division. We're in a physical, angry, punch you in the mouth, kick your dog, smack your old lady in the ass type of division. This is the teams that lean on you and run on you and wear you down. And if you can't stop the run in this division, in the NFL as a whole, but in this division, surely, you're going to lose. Plain and simple. If you can even bring a fraction of what that run defense did in Jacksonville last season, changes a lot of things, right? So now you can rush the passer. If you stop the run, You rush the passer, pin your ears back and go. You can dictate down and distance, right? You can make opposing quarterbacks uncomfortable, and that's the name of the game. And your corners are having to cover for 8 to 10 seconds, right? Now your defense can breathe and get the hell off the field. That is winning football. So we wanted second interviews with Jeff Hafley from the Packers, Robert Saleh of the Niners. Both those guys ended up getting hired. Hafley to the Dolphins, Saleh to the Titans. So we missed out. It happened. There's nothing we can do about it. Now this has grown to about 15 candidates interviewed or requested. When you start interviewing that many names, you're probably being thorough, or you're just looking for something to stick out, something shining, something to spark, something just like get your attention. Seems like Anthony did that. He's getting a second interview already. It was quiet and it was fast. So, it tells me that maybe we found someone we can actually get to take the job and lead this thing. And I know we're looking at Joe Brady, the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator. I just don't see it happening for the fact that Josh Allen really likes that guy, and I'm sure he's going to, campaign for that dude to be the head coach. So, look, Anthony Campanile is not the flashy hire, but he has a good resume, right? He has results, and number one run defense on his record, and proof that his unit can close games, finish seasons, and win when it counts. And if we're serious about it, man, we need someone that's serious about doing that, about improving, about bringing their skill set, and then you kind of just got to hope he can build a staff at this point, right? Anthony Campanile might be the guy, though. We'll have to wait and see what happens today. Because, can you imagine if it turns into an offer? Like, we get our head coach now. Like, at least we can start preparing for the draft, I guess, and start kind of thinking about who we're going to get and whatnot. I mean, if it's him, I could see us going for one of the linebackers from Ohio State, or Reuben Bain Jr., or David Bailey, or something like that. So things just got real, folks. We might be on the cusp of hiring our head coach for the next, I guess 1 to 3 seasons. Going off of Bidwell's firing record here. So let me know what you think. Should we hire this dude, Anthony Campanile? And if you had to choose between him, a defensive builder, or an offensive mind like Joe Brady, who would you hire and why? Let me know in the comments, and I will use those comments here for the comment show tomorrow. After a miserable 30-14 season, we fired Johnny Gannon as head coach, right? And when you zoom out, the total record is the loudest part of his story, 15-36 over 3 years. So while we're resetting, you got to look at, the wild thing to me, we're resetting right now, and somehow, even though Gannon's not as our head coach, he might not be unemployed for long, and neither might some of the coaches that were on the staff, because the league's already, there's already circling, right? According to Mike Garofalo from the NFL Network, there's already been a real interest in Gannon as defensive coordinator. Interview with the Cowboys on Tuesday for the defensive coordinator job, and he's going to talk to the Packers here next. And the Packers interview, they just lost Jeff Hafley, so they actually, he might actually get that job. We'll have to wait and see, because he took the Dolphins head coaching job. So, coaching carousel moves fast, guys, and Gannon's name is right in the middle of it. Garofalo also noted that multiple teams are interested, but the team that stands out is absolutely Dallas, right? Even though Gannon didn't work here as a head coach, it doesn't mean he can't work as a defensive mind or respected defensive mind, unless you ask the Eagles. They don't believe that at all, because he was a DC for them for 2 seasons and screwed up in the Super Bowl. But outside of that snafu, and I guess the 3 years with us as head coach, his resume seems to be something that teams aren't afraid of or aren't backing off from, right? They're probably looking at him like, all right, he's not a CEO kind of guy, but as a coordinator, he might still, pan out pretty well. So, look, if someone hires him, we'll be happy, because it actually helps us out financially. Because the money we still owe him for the next 2 years, it gets offset by whatever the next team pays him. So, all right. When Gannon leaves, we're still doing math on them, which is hilarious. But league-wide, there's also interest in our passing game coordinator and wide receivers coach, Drew Terrell. So it's weird that that they're even looking at anybody that worked for the Cardinals, but clearly they are, right? According to Ian Rappaport, Terrell interviewed Tuesday with the Atlanta Falcons for their OC job under newly hired head coach Kevin Stefanski. And he already interviewed with the Chargers and the Commanders, so he's making the rounds. So he's going to get a job somewhere here or there, regardless, right? So his coaching path has been steady and legit. Started in the NFL back in 2018 with the Carolina Panthers as their offensive quality control coach. Then in 2020, he went to Washington as the assistant receivers coach. 21, became the outright receivers coach, held that role for 2 years before coming here and spending the last 3 years under Johnny Gannon. So he's been climbing, getting OC interviews, and he's about to make the career jump. So, Andrew Petzing got hired by the Lions. Do I have to say anything else? Man, that's a weird one, right? Sorry, Lions fans, y'all got screwed. So here's where we're at. We fired Johnny Gannon after 3 years and a 15-36 record, and now he could actually land on his feet as a DC. Ooh, good for him. What are you going to do? Cowboys are probably going to grab him. Who knows? Terrell's going to get a look as an OC, and of course, Petzing's already gone. So this league's already picking through what we just threw out, and guess it works for them. So now we got to make the right move next, because if we don't, we're going to be doing this again in the next, year or 2 or 3, depending on what, how the coaching cycle happens here, whether we, fire someone after a year like Wilkes, like we did with Wilkes, or after 3 years like we did with Johnny Gannon, right? Really, really sad state of affairs in Arizona. It's really weird. But you know what's not sad? Underdog fantasy. Football playoffs are here, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the gridiron action. Playing Underdog is easy. Just pick if your players are going to go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. Get them right. Get them right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Make sure you get on that, right? I have the guy I've been sticking with on Underdog Fantasy, my guy Matthew Stafford, who I wish had been a Cardinal, because he would have been great. But he's not. He's a Ram. So I love this card right here. I'm going to tell you guys why. We're going higher than 255.5 passing yards. We're going higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. We're going lower than the half rushing yard. We're going higher than 21.5 completions and higher than the half interceptions thrown. And yeah, the last one's funny, but you'll see why, okay? He's one of those guys where, for the passing yards, for example, okay? When you look at that line, right, look at it and go, that's it? Because he's still one of the most volume-heavy quarterbacks in the league at almost 40 years old. And when the Rams commit to throwing the ball, he's the type of guy who can get you 255 by accident, right? He can hit 300 like it's nothing, right? All he needs is a competitive game and decent protection. And if they stay aggressive, he's going to sling it, right? He's a psychopath that way, right? He will absolutely shove it down your throat for 60 minutes if you let him, right? Now, pair it with the higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns, right? It goes hand in hand with the yardage play, right? If Stafford's hitting 260 plus passing yards, he almost always generates, scoring chances, especially in the red zone. He's one of the quarterbacks who throws, he throws touchdown in bunches, right? He's not the, one passing touchdown, one rushing touchdown kind of guy, the way Josh Allen is. He's the 2, 3, 4 passing touchdowns kind of guy. This a legit pocket passer. Plus, the Rams offense typically runs through Stafford's arm anyway, right? In scoring situations, simplest way for them to finish drives. So I'm taking that higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns because the volume and the opportunity are both there. Now, the easy one right here on this whole thing, lower than half rushing yards, right? He's not a scrambler whatsoever. He's not, he's not Lamar Jackson, right? He ain't running. He's not scrambling for 10. He's not getting loose. He's the pocket guy, right? But he's probably going to get sacked in this one. And then if they end up, putting up enough points to take a knee near the end of the game, it's going to be negative yards. Give me lower than a half rushing yard. And of course, higher than 21.5 completions. He's a volume guy. Plain and simple. Volume. He's going to sling that ball like crazy. Now, the one that's hilarious, I'm going higher than half interceptions. Translation, Stafford will throw a pick. All right, I'm not saying he's trash. I'm not saying he's reckless. I'm saying he's aggressive. He's a gunslinger. He trusts his arm, and Seattle loves quarterbacks that trust their arm because at some point, one of those balls is getting tipped, right? Maybe there's miscommunication. Maybe he's a forced throw late in the down. But one interception absolutely is happening. I don't see how it doesn't. He's going to throw at least one pick, at least. I would say at least 2. This defense is nasty, but at least 1. So again, higher yards, higher touchdowns, higher completions means he's going to be an active and aggressive passer. So there it is. There you go, folks. What are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code FootballFan, all one word, to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code FootballFan. Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus. 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska. 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. And present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/play and get terms DFSTML for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 hotline at 1-877-8 or text HOMI 467-369.
The NFL draft is coming up, folks, and let's not overcomplicate this. Let's stop playing around with this draft, talking about taking this guy and that guy and the other. And again, this is my draft series. I'm going to talk about a bunch of guys who we may or may not get, right? But it'd be nice to be somewhat educated about who's coming out for this draft, whom we might actually get, right? In this 2026 NFL draft, there's one type of player I believe we absolutely cannot ignore, someone in the trenches. And I'm talking about the offensive trenches. I am talking about Miami's Francis Maigoa. Quit playing around. Go get him, right? Because if we're serious about turning this offense into a legit machine, we got to fix that O-line. You guys know it. I know it, all right? We spent years trying to win games with talent on the outside, right? With the speed, the highlights, the flash. But football doesn't work that way for long. Defensive coordinators will figure your ass out very quickly. The NFL will do it, right? The NFC West ain't the place to try and get fancy and try and get clever, whatever. And definitely not when you're playing teams that punch you in the mouth for 4 quarters like the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Niners, right? Every single season we watch the same story happen, right? Offense looks good early, the quarterback gets pressured, run game disappears, third and line becomes a nightmare, and the whole thing stalls out. I literally just described almost every offensive game in 2025, right? We always end up saying the same damn thing. This O-line can't block a nosebleed. Jesus, what are we doing? So when I talk about drafting Francis Magoa, I'm talking a foundational franchise type of pick, right? I love the way he plays, right? He's the type of offensive line prospect that screams instant impact. We're going to plug this guy in at right tackle or right guard. He might even be better at right guard, really. But at right tackle, he is big. He is physical. He is powerful. He's mean as hell. If you guys remember our old U of A basketball coach used to say nastiness is required. Francis Magoa is about as nasty as it gets on this O-line, right? If you guys know Trent Williams from the Niners, he reminds me of him in terms of his mean and his physical. So we need someone that takes pride in protecting the quarterback and moves bodies off the ball, right? A guy with attitude, a guy with just a mean streak to him, right? A guy who comes in and makes the offense feel tougher just by being on the team, just by being in the line. Magoa brings that to a team, right? He's a player that lets you stop talking about fixing the O-line every offseason like it's a yearly tradition, because it has been for us, right? He begins that fixing the O-line, right? Especially when you have bookend tackles. We got Perry Johnson Jr. on one side, Francis Magoa on the other. Woo! Whatever quarterback we have, he's going to love that, right? Because this is not just about Kyler Murray. This is about any quarterback who's back there, right? I don't care if it's Kyler. I don't care if it's Jacoby Brissett. I don't care if it's a rookie. Jesus, we had to start a rookie next season. Christ, we're in trouble. But either way, no quarterback's going to survive in this league if the O-line is a question mark. Plain and simple. Can't keep asking our quarterback to play hero ball. Can't do it. He has no protection. Can't keep forcing the offense to be perfect just to get a first down. How many times have we seen Trey McBride take a shot just to get a first down, right? We definitely can't keep living on 3rd and 9 because we can't run the ball on 2nd and 5, right? Magoa will stay with his entire offensive line, right? Because better blocking means what? More time in the pocket, cleaner reads, fewer panic throws, more run lanes, better play action, more manageable downs. Like, it would be an actual, like, stay on script type of offense that we could watch every Sunday. So, stop building this team like a freaking fantasy football team and start building it like a legit franchise, right? We got to build it like the teams we're chasing, like the Seahawks, like especially the Seahawks who draft really, really well. Freaking A, they get lucky all the time, right? What do the best teams have? Offensive line help, or a good offensive line, right? A dominant line makes you even better, right? Your running backs are going to look great. Your quarterback looks way better. Your receivers have time to get open for fucking once, for once. Your quarterback looks better, right? Your receivers have time to get open, and your defense gets rest. Cool. Everything changes when the offensive line is right. So, yeah, Francis Magoa is not about headlines. It's not gonna win you. You know, you're not gonna get, talked about on First Take on ESPN. No one's gonna be patting us on the back going, "Yeah, good job, Cardinals." They're gonna be like, "Oh, that's a boring pick." Hell, some of our fans are gonna boo it, for sure. The ones that don't watch the games, right? Us that watch the game, every single game, we're gonna be like, that's right, go get him. Because in the 2026 NFL draft, getting him means getting toughness on that line, right? Fixing or strengthening the protection, right? Helping this run game that's inconsistent, getting them to some kind of consistency, right? Because we need to stop pretending we can fix this franchise without winning the trenches game, the trench fight, the trench war. Just took myself back to World War I social studies class. Jesus. So let's invest in this online. Let's get Francis Magoa. Put him in that red jersey. Put him in the trenches. Let's finally build this thing the right way. Damn it. Because we need to. We deserve it. Our team deserves it. We want to win. I want to win. I'm sick of losing. Get it done. That, ladies and gentlemen, is going to do it for this episode of Cardinals Daily. I'm Eddie Law. Don't forget to hit that sub, hit the bell, hit the like, leave a comment. I will see you guys all tomorrow for comment show. That's right. And I got a few comments this couple times. One fella, sorry, Brad, I forgot your name, but you had I really enjoyed our back and forth, even though you sent kind of essay length comments. I did read them, right? And I don't think I responded to your last one, but I would like to keep that going. So if you don't mind coming up on the Friday show, definitely want to put up your comments here. I'll put my take on it, and then if you can comment back, I'll put that on a Monday show. And I'm not one of those content creators. I hate calling myself that, but content creators that doesn't want debate. I like debate, especially with someone smarter than me. So it seems like you know the bid wheels a lot more than I do. I would love to talk to you about it. So yeah, definitely come back, please. All right. Again, I will see you guys all tomorrow. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring the video. Please scan the QR code, sign up for Underdog Fantasy using football fan, all one word as your code. It really helps out the channel, y'all. I really appreciate it. Bird game. I rock with y'all till the wheels fall off. Go Cardinals.